Now let us look at a few sample lesson plans. The first one is for the secondary stage, subject English, class 10th. The topic is letter to the editor, which is a kind of formal letter. Time required 3 periods. Learning outcomes. The learners will identify situations that require writing a letter to the editor, learn the process of writing and the right format, collaborate with each other to assimilate ideas, use language appropriate to purposes and perspectives, talk on key contemporary issues like social justice, environment, gender, etc. in speech and writing. Write formal letters based on verbal clues, textual inputs, etc. Assess one's own and peers' work based on developed rubrics. The learning resources or ICT tools required: charts or projectors, handouts, A4 size papers, envelopes, newspapers from the school library or home. Prerequisite knowledge. The learners have learnt the concept of informal letters in middle school. They have written letters to the principal using the format of formal letters. They have read about the panchayat system in the 6th standard. They have observed as well as read about issues concerning the society at large like pollution, traffic, accidents, etc. Now, what are the key points? Writing a formal letter to highlight one's concern regarding a particular issue, especially those issues that affect society at large. The process of writing will be undertaken by the learners stepwise. A particular format needs to be followed and the learners need to understand its purpose. The learners already know how to write formal applications to their school authorities and are now at an age where they observe their surroundings keenly and critically and may feel the need to voice their opinion on what they see around them. Now let us start with the teaching learning process. In the first period, the focus will be on the stage experience, the activity. Panchayati Raj in the classroom, a case study. The learners have already read about Panchayati Raj and the class will be transformed into a village named after the school. For example, KV Kharagpur Gram, for initiating the discussion on the topic. Step 1 of the activity. Groups will be formed with 5 members in each group representing Gram Sabha, and it will be ensured that the groups are balanced in their constitution. This activity should preferably be conducted outside where the seating arrangement is not obstructed by fixed desks, or desks may be arranged in a manner that the learners sit facing one another. The situation is such that you live in a village named KV Kharagpur Gram or the name of the gram of their choice, and your village is not progressing at a desirable rate, and you are facing varied number of problems. Many people are leaving the village to lead a comfortable life in cities or adjacent towns. You want development for your village and to have an improved quality of life for all the villagers. You have decided to represent your views in the next Gram Panchayat. Before starting, the learners should recall the meaning and purpose of Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. So, in the first step, the situation was provided to the learners. Now coming to step 2. The learners will now brainstorm by discussing in their groups the various problems that villagers face and choose one to be presented to the Gram Panchayat. They could come up with problems like the poor condition of village roads, unavailability of potable water, building a secondary school in the village, etc. The groups are expected to announce the chosen issue immediately after selecting it so that the other groups do not end up selecting the same topic. Anticipated obstacle and a way out. Learners might not be able to think of a problem. In that case, the teacher may put forth probing questions circling around specific topics, and the last resort could be providing a list of topics to choose from or picking from a draw of lots. So the problems could be provided by the teacher, for example, poor condition of roads, water shortage, increasing pollution in the village, lack of cleanliness and hygiene in the village. So, step 2 was finding a topic on which the students will now express their opinion. Step 3, and this is all under the stage experience. The learners in step 3 will now write their views so that they can submit them to the Gram Panchayat for further action. For that, they will be provided with the following handout to fill in using 100 to 120 words. The handout will have the following topics or headings. The problem. So the students will have to state the problem, for example, lack of cleanliness and hygiene in the village. Then they have to write detailed consequences of the problem, followed by possible solutions, then role of villagers, and the last heading, help from higher authorities. Through the above activity, the learners will get engaged in the first 3 steps of the writing process, which is collecting, organizing, and drafting. By the first 3 steps, it is being referred to the coder system of writing, where C stands for collecting, O stands for organizing, D for drafting, E for engage and edit, and R for revise for accuracy. So in the first stage where they perform this activity, they are getting engaged in the first 3 steps of writing. They are collecting the points, they are organizing it, and they are drafting it. This is the experience stage. Now let us come to the second stage, which is reflect, where they share and reflect on the experiences. It can be done in the very same period. In this step, presentation or sharing of points by each team will take place after the assimilation of ideas. All the group members should be encouraged to present. While the learners of one group are presenting, the other groups will listen intently and rate the presenters. A rubric has been provided for peer assessment where the performance of each group will be assessed on the basis of ideas, organization and coherence, and communication skills. And that is why the groups will have to listen intently and then they will be rating the presenters. While rating the other learners, each student will also question the relevance of their own ideas, that is introspection, and they will also draw similarities and dissimilarities. They will be provided a chance to improve upon their content at the end of the presentations. This can be their home assignment. The group which gets the highest score will be appreciated. All of this comes under the stage reflection, where they reflect on each other's performances as well as their own. The third stage of the learning cycle is conceptualize. This can be taken up in the next period. The class will begin with recapitulating previous day's learnings. The focus will be on drafting a formal letter. The teacher will now ask the learners to find out ways to make their voice reach a wider group of people so that the condition of the village is known to everyone. The possible answers could be social media, news shown on television, posters, newspaper, radio. The students will have a discussion about all these mediums and the focus will be drawn to the relevance of newspapers. Let's recall the format of a formal letter. The students are already aware of the format of a formal letter, but before they attempt a letter to the editor, it has to be done again. The following questions may be asked to elicit answers from the students and it will help in the conceptualization. Where do we write the date in a formal letter? Which is written first, the sender's address or the receiver's address? How long should be the subject? What should be the ideal length of a letter to the editor? What is the complimentary clause that you use in a letter to the editor? What is the salutation used in a letter to the editor, madam or sir or both? The learners are asked to put the sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject, salutation, complimentary clause, signature, and name in the right order. This may be done on the blackboard. They will be asked to arrange these and write in their notebooks. So they will have the format of the letter right in front of them. Step 2. So what is to be done? And the entire process has to be elicited from the learners. The use of format, addresses, date, subject, name of the newspaper, name of the sender, paragraph 1, where we add an opening, greet, introduce ourselves, the purpose, then paragraph 2, where we elaborate on the matter which they have already done when they were doing the experience phase, that is, writing their opinions on a particular topic. In the third paragraph, conclusion with expectations or solutions, and the word limit 120 to 150 words. Step 3. Assessment for learning. The learners will be given questions and asked to write the letter as per the correct format except the body using the details given in the questions. They should practice at least 2 in the class. Example 1. You are Sneha, a resident of Hubli, Karnataka. You want to write a letter to the editor of a national daily drawing attention to how stray animals have been left neglected in your locality. Through these questions, we will see whether the student is able to draw the sender's address, the date, the receiver's address, a proper subject, and the complementary clause. After practicing the format correctly, now they can go to the next stage, which is applying. The stage apply, which can be taken up in the third period. The learners will be given new situations to write letters on. This will be done in the class so that immediate feedback or continuous assessment can be given to the learners. In one period, they should be able to write at least 2 letters. The students will be encouraged to write a letter highlighting a problem being faced by them or their community in real life. Loose sheets and envelopes will be made available to them. They will write a letter, put it inside the envelope, and complete it by writing the postal address of the newspaper concerned. This may be posted to the addresses with the help of the school. Extended activity. Emails are one of the most popular as well as fastest means of reaching people or institutions. The learners also came across email addresses of the newspaper offices while doing the class activities. They may be asked to compose an email and learn how to send it by using resources available in the school. The teacher may ask the computer teacher or computer instructor to take it up as one of the activities in the computer class. Let us look at a sample lesson plan for the middle school. Class 8th, subject English, the topic on the grasshopper and cricket, which is a poem. Time required 3 periods. Learning outcomes. The learners will speak about their observations in the class or school environment and outside surroundings. Identify details, main idea, and sequence of ideas while reading. Infer the meaning of unfamiliar words by reading them in context. The learning resources required are audio clips, which are optional, and worksheets. Prerequisite knowledge. The learners can identify rhyming words, and they are also aware of the seasons. What are the key points? The poem intends to introduce the concept of poetry in nature. It also focuses on the use of rhyming words and the rhythm it creates for the readers. Now let us look at the teaching learning process covering the learning stages. The first one, that is experience. All the learners are taken outside the classroom to an open ground or a garden. The learners may sit comfortably and close their eyes. The teacher then asks them to concentrate and hear the different types of sounds they are surrounded with. After 2 to 3 minutes, they will be encouraged to make a list of all the sounds they heard. The learners might come up with a list similar to the one shown below. The list has example of the sounds. For example, chirping of birds, barking of a dog, horns of vehicles, moo sound made by a cow, cry of a child, or songs. It may be noted that teacher may also use a number of pre-recorded sounds like the sound of birds, traffic, rain, crickets, monkeys, children, machines, etc., and create the required atmosphere inside the class. The learners share the list with their friends and also choose their favorite sound. They share the reason for selecting it as their favorite. Coming to the second stage, which is reflect. The learners express their views on how they felt hearing the sounds. Examples of expected answers: machines, irritated; song, happy; birds, happy; raindrops, calm; frog, funny. The learners work in groups and categorize the different sounds on the basis of their origin. The teacher may use probing questions if required to highlight the originating sources as either natural or human made. So, they will categorize all the sounds as per the origin, whether they are coming from the nature or the source is human made. For example, the sound made by dogs, raindrops, insects will fall under the category of nature, while songs, machines, announcements, etc. will come under the category human made. This was the reflection stage. Now, the third one, which is conceptualize. From the preceding stage, the learners gather that nature too has elements of never ending music in it, like the soothing sound of rain or the interesting sound of insects. The poem is read loudly by the teacher. Instead of telling the meaning to the learners directly, they are encouraged to infer the meaning of the following words using the context in which they have been used, and they are given the following set to match. So here we see a table with word and the meanings, but they are jumbled. The words are mow, hedge, rot, meadow, weed, seizing, frost, shrills, drowsiness. And on the other side, we have the meanings all jumbled up: stopping, sleepy, deposit of ice crystals, brought, fence, high-pitched noise, wild plants, grassland, cut down grass. For example, the number 9 word, drowsiness, will match with the second word under the column meaning, which is sleepy. The students will do this matching activity, which will help them in inferring the poem. The poem is silently read by the learners and they work on the following questions orally. The question asked are: the sounds of which 2 insects are mentioned in the poem? Which season does the phrase hot sun indicate? Which season does the phrase frost indicate? Which insect makes sounds in which season? What is referred to as the poem of the earth? Why does the poem of the earth never stop? List the rhyming words from the poem. What are the activities of the grasshopper and the cricket? Now let us come to the last stage, which is apply. Apart from comprehending the poem, the learners should also be able to construct short stanzas with rhyming words, use the new words in sentences of their own. A worksheet will be provided to the students. Extended activity. 2 seasons, that is summer and winter, have been used in the poem. Write a poem on monsoon using inputs from the concept of water cycle. Describe the process of water cycle that you have read in science in a poetic manner.